Hi YouTube! So this is Megan with the Pagan Perspective. This is Subs Week, and today we're talking about our personal paths. Hi YouTube! So today we're talking about our personal paths. I'm sure as you know, this is a 2-week project. I'm really enjoying hearing all of the different journeys that everyone has been on. It's really exciting. So for the auditions and things, we had to talk a little bit about our personal path, and so I wanted to take this opportunity to go a little deeper. I know I haven't done that quite as much as I've gotten some questions about. So I'm sure you know all the questions by now. It's been a week. If you don't, they're in the comment bar below. And so yeah, let's get started. So the Pathname. So I've kind of talked about this a little bit before on this channel as well as my personal channel, but I don't have a Pathname, so to speak. I'm a hereditary witch, so my path was passed down my familial line. So I don't have a particular title to put with it. It's just a family tradition. It's my family's tradition. So that makes it a little difficult to put the name on it. However, what is nice is that I do feel like with research and with the other pagans I've met and the community, I can safely put certain titles onto it. So a hereditary witch is one that I use frequently because to me it really kind of encapsulates most of what I am. The hereditary being obvious, but the witch part of it, the witchcraft part of what I do, it really melds the two together. Pagan is another term that I frequently use. It fits the best. I'm a polytheist, kind of like Kara said in one of my videos. I'm a hard polytheist. Actually, I had heard you say that before. I had never thought about what I was. And how it fit. I just have always been what I've been, and I guess this is something that that is interesting to bring up in this video. This idea of having some sort of journey from something else into paganism. I know that is most people's experience, and it's not my experience, and so that's something really kind of interesting to wrap my head around when I listen to so many people's journeys. Now, it's something that I'm well aware of, as many pagans, in fact, probably I would venture to say the majority of pagans currently, at least in the United States, have journeyed from something else to paganism. So I'm certainly in the minority here. It just hasn't been my experience. So this particular path, why it's important, and this is something that I think is really interesting to talk about, why my path is important, because in many ways I didn't have a choice in my path. And let me explain this a little bit. I didn't have the choice to start practicing. It wasn't forced on me the way that people talk about going to church and having to get dressed up in dresses or whatever, and sit down and being forced to do that once a week. So it wasn't forced on me that way. However, it was more of this calling that it was in my blood. It is who I am, and it's what you do. So it wasn't so much being dragged there as it was an expectation, and more so the expectation not from the parental figures, but this idea that it should be an expectation of myself, that this is what I am called to do, this is who I am. I need to see through my destiny. I need to see through who I am. So in that way, though it was forced, that I didn't really have a choice, I was okay with not having a choice because I never really thought that there was any other way. And I was okay with that. And I still am okay with that. I believe this is my calling. I believe this is who I am meant to be and who I am. So I guess it doesn't bother me that it wasn't a choice. So the other part of why is that I love it. I love being a witch. I love being a pagan. I am constantly struck with new experiences and new things to learn and new people to meet. And I love the magic, and I love the feeling that I get. I love every single experience that I have, whether it be in ritual or outside ritual, that involves my faith. I just feel fully committed, and I just completely adore. So I guess that's the best description I can give. Forgive me if my voice is a little bit gone. I was at the New York Ren Fair over the past weekend, and I had a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a memory card, so I couldn't bring the camera with me. But it was a lot of fun. But I've lost my voice shouting for everybody. So how did you come to know that this path is right for you? So that one is, I think I've kind of explained. How did I come to know it? I have always known it. It's been the only thing I've known. So that one's really kind of not applicable. I don't know. Does that work? Why? Well, why it's the one is pretty clear because that's the one that was there. So that part of it. But why personally is it the one for me? And all I can say is that I know it. I know it inside. I know it in my veins, in my blood, in my breath, in my soul, in every part of me, that this is not only my destiny, not only what I am meant to be doing, but it is also what I want to do. It is everything. And it's where I find holistic pleasure. It's where I find completeness. It's where I find existential joy. It is my world. So that the deity question. So this one is interesting because I work with many different deities, but obviously, as I've spoken about, if you've watched any of my other videos, the god and the goddess are paramount. And then there are minor deities below that. And as the cute witch has said, I'm a hard polytheist. So I believe that deities are a literal manifestation. A little. Some of them are little. Talked about that before. But a literal manifestation. So I actually, and I believe this, I mean, and I hate to say this because I know that it's been something kind of talked about before, but I actually know this to be true. So this is a weird sort of juxtaposition. I know my faith to be true. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. And that's not to say that I don't believe others know their faith to be true either. And that's because I believe all faiths are true. And I kind of explained this in another video, so I don't want to rehash old things. But, you know, the deities being literal and being true beings, the god and the goddess are who I primarily work with. After that, I tend to work with certain Etruscan gods and goddesses, as well as Celtic gods and goddesses. Many, though, of the gods and goddesses that I work with, they don't have names that you would recognize. And so I guess the issue with that, or the reason behind that, is that I do come from a family tradition. And so many of the gods and goddesses are family gods and goddesses. So they are ones that have ascended and have become minor deities themselves. So I know that's a little bit wonky, and feel free to ask some questions if you're not quite there. Not sure how much I want to go into it right now. But the other deities that I work with are what I consider lesser deities and sort of lesser higher beings, and not quite full deities. So I work with many of the Fae. I work on the elemental plane as well as the Fae plane, and the Fae are near and dear to me. So I am of the Fae blood. So anyone within my bloodline is part of Fae blood. So that's part of our heritage, and so that's how that working becomes really important to me, and working within the Fae and with them. So how do I know that they were right for me? And this is, again, so hard. I just did. They were what's there. I don't know. No, I know that they're right for me because they are right for me. And I know that that's sort of like a non-answer, but it's the only answer I can really give honestly. They're right for me because they're right for me. They are what's been passed down. They are what's in my blood, and they are the god and the goddess. They are there, and they're right because they exist, and they are part of me. They are inside me and outside of me, and I am part of them. And so they are right because they are there. And I guess that's the only way I can describe that. I'm not really sure. So was it a long journey? Yeah. Well, I'm 31, so it's been a 31-year journey. There we go. And the year and a day, no, I didn't. I didn't do a year and a day because, well, I've always been a witch. So, but I will say one thing though that is important here is that I also, like Tara before me, was raised around Christianity. So, through public school and public holidays and things like that, I was always familiar with Christianity. And for us, we always celebrated the solstice, celebrated the holiday. So basically, we did everything right around the time in which we would have off from school or off from work. And we would celebrate the way we want to celebrate. So that always involved a tree, and always involved presents and music and family and friends and decorating. My mother is a light-oholic, is what I like to call her. My mom is just obsessed with lights. So for her, the holiday is all about the light, and keeping the light, bringing the light in, expanding the light, everything. So, having a tree is just so essential, because I think at last count she was at 2,500 lights just on the tree. So, and for us, it's a holiday tree. The tree is an essentially pagan thing. The lights are pagan. The decoration, everything is all pagan. But what's so nice about it is it allowed me to have I don't want to say a normalcy, but it was nice because if somebody said a tree, I could say, yeah, I have a tree too. Or, did you get presents? Yeah, I got presents too. Now, do I call it the same thing as the Christians do? No, but it allowed me as a kid to celebrate holidays around the exact same time as my Christian friends were celebrating, and it allowed me to have similar celebrations, which made things feel less awkward growing up. So let's not talk about the lights everywhere else in the house, shall we? Because let's be real, Mom, bring it down. So, but yeah, it's definitely something where I've been exposed to the Christian way of life. I think we all are in a Christian privileged society where everyone assumes you're Christian unless you state otherwise. And you know, the Christians have the privilege. They're allowed. They listen to their music on the radio. Their holidays are the ones that we have as national holidays. They have the privilege, just like white privilege and heterosexual privilege, male privilege, all of that in our society as a whole. The Christians enjoy that. So it's something that I've certainly been very aware of. Have I ever read the Bible? No. Do I have any clue what some of the things are other than the basic stuff? I mean, I get certain things. You know, I know that when I have been approached by people trying to convert me, I'm told that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and that, you know, he's Lord and Savior and all of this stuff. So I know certain things that I have kind of garnered over the years. But again, I don't know the full story of things, and I'm not that interested. So I'm very interested, though, in the one religion that I have studied quite a bit and have actually begun to incorporate some of the beliefs and certainly some of the deities into my own faith is Hinduism. So I have been working quite a lot recently with the goddess Kali. And Kali is the goddess of death and destruction, but with many other things. And she is this supreme mother goddess that just I am enraptured with. And I feel like there's just something about her that calls to me. And though I wasn't brought up with her, she's very, very powerful to me at this point in my life. And I'm really excited to do more work with her. So I'll keep you informed. And I think that is probably about it. So I wanted to keep this short, and that didn't happen. So we will say goodbye for today. We'll say goodbye. Say goodbye. Yes. So we'll say goodbye for today. And I hope that you are all well, and blessed be.